how was the experience? Would you like to tell us more about the experience of being on the show?
Yeah, definitely. The experience was very insightful and life-changing for me because it was a lot more than I expected it to be. Initially going into the show, I just wanted to learn about production and how they make one of the biggest shows in the country and just learn from all those things because it
Yes.
piqued my interest. But in being a part of the game in front of the camera and actually playing the game the way that we did, facing the elements and all those things, I just gained a much bigger appreciation for life because a lot of things that we took for granted were taken away from us and we had to deal with everything that we had then.
Yes.
So it was very life-changing for me.
Very life changing. So it was actually an experience that actually came with a couple of lessons as well, right?
Yes, definitely. It came with a lot of lessons. Like, I think the first thing would be, the most obvious thing would be not to take things for granted that we used to take for granted, like having, a roof over your head, food in your stomach,
Yes.
clothes on your body. All those things were just taken away from us, and these are things in our everyday lives that we take for granted. So I think the first lesson was to be more appreciative of life and being away from your family and your people for that long. It seems a lot longer when you're on the island and you just away
Yeah.
from real life. So you also appreciate your relationships and the people close to you a lot more. And also, in my experience, when everyone around you is sort of coming for you, you learn to appreciate the people that are in your corner and the people that support you
Yes.
a lot more because you understand the fact that like you need people you can confide in a game like that. Like basically Survivor is just a game where you can't trust anybody, you can't confide in anyone 100%. So you learn to appreciate relationships for what they are because those things are taken away from you and it's a dark
Wow.
world out there.
Hey, that's really powerful there, eh? It's a very powerful message there. And then throughout the whole journey, what challenges did you encounter?
Through the journey, I think the first challenge I encountered was the elements because the very first night we were there, it rained and our shelter wasn't fully up at that time, so we were sleeping under shelter that was leaking. Then we had to move to a cave. It just got cold and it rained. So
Whoa.
the first challenge was dealing with the elements, and then the next challenge was because I'm somebody that's so reserved and I just keep to myself most of the time.
Yes.
Dealing with all these personalities that I'm forced to deal with was also a challenge in itself. Like, I'm good at reading people and navigating. So in real life, I read people and I avoid them based on the fact that I think we can get along or we won't be able to get along. But in a game like Survivor, you're forced to coexist with those people within the same space. So you learn to basically nurture different relationship dynamics differently and just stay on your toes mostly. That's another challenge in itself because the game itself is constantly changing. The power dynamics are constantly changing. So
Yeah.
staying alert and staying on your toes while you're hungry, sleep deprived, tired, and just absolutely exhausted and fatigued mentally. But you need your mind to be working 24/7. You need to be alert 24/7. That was also a challenge in itself.
Wow. Seems like it just really took you out of your comfort zone.
No, definitely, because even in my the interviews we did just before we went into the game, I did say that I joined Survivor because I felt like outside of life itself, I was just running out of champions, and I needed that in order
That
to
boost, yeah.
feel like I'm being challenged by something, and it was a challenge bigger than what I would have anticipated. So definitely.
All right. So at some point, did you ever feel like quitting?
No, I don't think I felt like quitting. The only things that I think it's normal for every single player when you're getting rained on and you can't do anything about
Yeah.
it. When you're hungry, to just think about back home and think about where you'd rather be. But it didn't cross my mind that I just want to give this all up and go home. I appreciated the experience for what it was, and I stuck with it all the way through. I never thought about quitting at any time.
There we go. There we go. So now, throughout all these challenges and the difficulties that you faced, what was the main motivation that kept you going?
Basically the main motivation was the fact that I didn't want to quit in itself. Like I wanted to be at the end. I wanted to win, but more than anything, I realized that within myself I was representing something a lot bigger than myself. I
Yes.
knew that there's not a lot of people that come from where I come from who get to have an opportunity to be on a platform like that. So I just kept going for my siblings. I knew that they'd be watching. I have 7 younger siblings, so I knew they'd be looking at an older brother, and that kept at the back of my mind. I was motivated like that, and just to inspire
Yeah.
the person that would look up to my journey. And yeah, basically I knew I was representing something a lot bigger than just me, and that's what kept me going.
Wow, shout out to that, hey. Sounds like there's a lot of growth that you also encountered throughout the challenges. And now, for someone who would like to be a part of Survivor, now this is the last question. What would you advise them to do in order to prep themselves?
In order to prep yourself, I think a lot of mistakes that the biggest mistakes that a lot of people make is going into this game too prepared. Because at the end of the day, you can watch all the Survivor that you can, but you'll never be 100% sure of what to deal with. So I'd say make sure that you're adaptable in your approach.
Yeah.
Whatever you think you want to do, make sure that you stay adaptable and you expect the unexpected, because you can watch all the Survivors that are played.
Yes.
Those Survivors were played by different players, different personalities, under different circumstances. It's never going to work exactly the way it did for someone else. You're never going to be able to make that work for you. So make sure you're going into it like as free and open to adapting as much as possible.
As
Because
much as
someone
possible.
like me, for example,
Yes.
I wasn't a super fan. I'd never watched a full season of Survivor before I played it, so it played to my advantage that I never tried to copy anyone in my
Yeah.
approach with the game. So
Yes.
I'd encourage a lot of people to go into it as a blank page. I think that's the best preparation you can do. And on the physical stuff, just make sure you're fit enough in order to be able to participate in the challenges, because in the beginning stages of the game, if you're a liability to the tribe, it plays to your disadvantage. So just make sure that you're in decent shape for yourself, and that you just don't over prepare, because that could be a downfall as well.
All right. Okay. No, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Tyson, for joining us in studio. It was lovely having the chat with you. Hope we can have another chat one day again.
Me too, man. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. It's a pleasure. Thank you so much. Enjoy.
You too. Cheers, man. Bye.
Cheers. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Tyson joining us, sharing his sharing details on his journey on Survivor South Africa Immunity Island. And I hope to all our tuners and viewers, you took a bit of notes there in case you want to be part of the show as well. But for now, thank you so much for joining us. Please do not forget to follow me on our social media platforms. On Instagram, it's The Real Miglambo. That is _real_Miglambo. And on Twitter, you can catch me at The Real Miglambo. From the team and myself, enjoy.